What's going on, folks? This is Colion Noir joining you from SHOT Show 2017 for another wonderful episode of CN Live. And I just want to kind of point out some SHOT Show facts here really quickly before we get started. So SHOT is the 5th largest show in Las Vegas and also 16th largest show in America. Man, I never get old. So this is officially my third or fourth SHOT Show, and I'm looking forward to doing some more from here on out. So joining me is John Sheahan from Viridian. What's going on, man?
Hey, it's a privilege being here with you today, Colion. That's great.
Yeah, so I was looking over some of the new products that you guys were coming out with today, and I noticed one thing that rang clear was the FACT.
Yes.
So tell people what the FACT is.
Well, that's our fast activation camera technology that we've developed for weapon systems, mostly handguns. We do have it for the consumer, and we're also developing one which is FACT duty, which is going to be sold to government agencies for law enforcement, not to the individual officer, but to the agency, and it's an encrypted system.
Gotcha. Okay, so what does it do?
What it does is it incorporates our actual instant-on technology, which is inside the CPU. There is a device which activates on a magnetic field. So if there is a magnet placed in the holster, we have a specific magnetic device placed on the holster. You holster that weapon, the camera will turn off. But as you draw out of the holster, the camera is already on, thus reducing lag time. You're worried more about the threat downrange than you are about, geez, did I turn this camera on? Did I turn the light on?
Gotcha.
It incorporates the same technology that we have with our other laser and light systems that we use. Again, enhanced combat readiness.
Awesome. And joining us is my good friend, Dom Raso. What's going on,
brother?
What's
up, brother? How you doing?
Good to meet you.
Hi. You too.
How's it going?
Good. Just jumping on in here.
Yeah, man. So let's do it. I mean, just round table this thing, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're just talking about this FACT system, basically, and I'm going to put it in as layman terms as possible. So basically, you have a camera attached to your light that's instant on the moment you pull it from your holster.
That's correct.
Enough?
And it's in HD.
Oh, okay.
This is all in HD. It's completely downloadable. You know, we figured that this would be great for the person that gets themselves into a situation like what happened down in Florida a few years ago with Mr. Zimmerman, with FACT duty, with what would happen in Ferguson. And, you know, you think about that and how much civil arrest, how much civil unrest could you prevent legal fees for yourself that you would incur if you had this system, that you'd be able to avoid that as far as that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. The law-abiding guy or the guy that wants that accountability to be like, I took the right actions, they're going to be able to show that back. Yeah, I know for law enforcement especially, these guys are being put under microscopes. You know what I mean?
Yes, they are.
They're being really scrutinized. But I ran the Viridian for a while, and the instant on is awesome. Yeah. I mean, not having to manipulate anything out of the holster is key. So if it activates that and the light, both are that's an awesome capability.
I mean, even for me, just carrying a gun, the way I carry my gun around on a daily basis, a lot of people don't really factor in the legal side of a justified shoot.
Which they should.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a 25-year veteran of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, spent better than half my career in SWAT. Yeah. And, man, I wish I would have had this.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
A very underestimated component to the whole idea of self-protection.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
So is there any other features with this besides the HD video? Is it just doing the...
It's got a tack light as well.
It does?
It does. The consumer version has a 140 lumen tack light. We bump up to a 500 lumen tack light with this. Now, with this system, the operator has the ability to disable the camera. Download it with just a USB patch cord. You want to put it on YouTube, whatever you want to do. We actually had some competition shooters come to our booth and say, we would love to use this system in competition shooting. Never even thought of that. I mean, what a great idea, right?
Absolutely.
And so, very versatile, a lot of different uses that we can have with this. And then as the director of law enforcement sales for the company, to be able to bring this to market is just, I was beyond excited about it.
So what's the runtime like? So if I'm pulling out of my holster, I'm running and gunning. Let's say I'm at a range session or something.
Oh, you're good on this one for over 4 hours. You're good on this one for 6 hours. Continuous runtime. This will hold more than 4 hours of video. This 8 hours of video. Okay. And then it isn't stored in the battery pack. It's actually stored in the unit itself. Yes.
Now, is that the information that's able to be recorded on it, is that going to be something that's expandable over time? Like, are you going to be able to do like a software update? Well, say for instance, I wanted to have maybe 6-7 hours worth of video. Is
Absolutely.
that possible?
There'll be further generations of this.
Okay.
We're going to incorporate that in. We're hoping also down the road to incorporate our green laser system in these two as well.
Okay.
So, as technology gets better and things get smaller, we can cram more things in there, more goodies, more toys for us to play with.
Yeah, that coaching aspect is key too, because you can give yourself feedback, you can give other people feedback. So being able to see what you're looking at when you're making decisions is pretty cool. Who else is picking this up? Is this out there? Are guys starting to purchase this?
Well, this is actually available for pre-order. We are writing pre-orders at our booth as we speak for the commercial version of this. For this of course, because it's encrypted from the factory. So this will come with an encryption code, fact duty. And what we'll do is that will only go to government agencies. The individual officer will not be able to purchase that. So government agencies will get all those. They will plug them into some software, and then finishing the encryption code off would be with, like, say, a badge number, something like that would turn this thing into basically a video fingerprint for that officer. That unit is indicative to that specific officer.
Okay, so when you say encryption, what does that mean, that you can't access the data unless you have specific software, or is that just giving
you have to be the
tag?
police administrator for fact duty.
Okay.
So we would give the police division responsible for the investigation of that officer-involved shooting the software to be able to download those images. So, we're taking away that factor where we might have some officers want to download it and put it on YouTube, where we, for confidentiality reasons, wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you absolutely have to maintain that. And then also for evidence as well.
Yeah.
So we had to take those extra steps. So software for this is being developed as I speak. And then I also brought the Safari Land standard retention tactical holster, leg or duty. This actually fits directly into there perfectly.
What are we talking price-wise?
Well, we haven't set a price for this yet. I can
Okay.
tell you that we are going to be highly competitive with any body camera system that's out there right now on this system. This here is going to go for $299 retail for the consumer. For the police officer, it's going to be substantially higher than that, but because we have more technology in there.
Gotcha.
Now, with that also as well, you got to remember that because we're not using a body camera system, we're actually able to see more. With a body camera, will provide someone with the context for why they're there.
Exactly.
But what we're seeing a lot of times on YouTube and things when they've actually downloaded officer-involved shootings is that you don't actually see the shooting.
Yeah.
You don't see the
pretext for the shooting.
You see the pretext for the shooting, but you don't see the pretext for the use of force.
Exactly.
But because there's nothing except the muzzle and this lens between you and the bad guy, you are absolutely going to be able to see that. Plus, we can freeze, because it's HD, that freeze frame it to a portrait quality. He had a knife, he had a big gun, whatever. It wasn't a book, or it wasn't whatever.
That's a good point, because of a gear and equipment. Just carrying a sling. If I have an AR, like, that sling goes over the lens all the time.
Exactly.
So there's an unknown there with getting blocked, and if you have a clear view, most likely there's not going to be anything past your muzzle besides what you're having to shoot.
When I was still active duty, we actually had an officer get into shooting, took a weaver stance, and as he came up, his camera was right here. And as the patch of his shirt obscured the lens, and you couldn't actually see the threat. So this alleviates that.
And then what I wanted to talk about also really quickly was stabilization.
Sure.
So I mean, I don't. How does that? Because you're dealing with the recoil of the firearm. You're dealing with, let's say he's in a house, he's engaging somebody in a house, or moving through a house. What does that look like in terms of the quality of the picture we're going to be seeing?
Well, again, because we're dealing with HD, and if you had to freeze frame or lock it down to a slow motion,
you can do
even with that recoil, you're still going to get it. And then again, remember, you're going to be as good as the shooter is. If the shooter's limp wristing it, if they're not, or if they're firing from a less than ideal combat position, from a compromised position, you might have an issue there. But again, with that HD, you're still going to be able to slow down that video enough that you'll be able to see what it was. And what's really important, Graham versus Connor, for any use of force, is what did the officer see or the individual see at the moment the trigger broke, right? So that's what we're going to see. So before that recoil even happens, because it is HD, you'll be able to see exactly what they saw at that moment that they made the decision to press the trigger.
Personally, I think, works the way you say it works, only because I haven't used it yet.
Sure.
I think that's a game changer in and of itself,
We
personally.
really believe it is, too.
Yeah, there's definitely a capability that guys can add. It's just going to add that accountability. That's it. Anytime you can add it, it's going to help the guys explain what they were seeing at the time.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line. So there's no argument there. And when you see video, right, it's hard when you don't hear anything else. You don't hear or see anything. It's hard to have context. And we always talk about having context. People want to come and judge all day long, but with video, we're going to be able to give them some of that context and ultimately helping the guys out. So
Exactly.
That's cool.
Well, thank you very much, John. It was a pleasure.
Guys, it's been an honor to be here
man,
with you.
absolutely, dude.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right.
And we'll be back.